Welcome back, guys, to another episode of the Cast Patrol podcast. Joined as always by Mick and Age, and a special guest for today, one of our good mates, Cameron, also known as Camo. How's it going, Camo?
Going good. See you guys reached a new low for the worst special guest you'll ever have.
But, by far.
Happy to be here.
Welcome. You're in the history books.
Definitely the worst guest we've ever had. Congratulations.
We haven't had many.
And for that, you are our cast character of the week.
Well done.
Start with a bang. Congratulations.
Is that
Well done.
easy?
No, you done well.
Fun.
For those that don't know, Cameron was actually the fourth Cast Patrol member, missing in action at the minute. But yeah, he's been with us for a while, mainly Age. How long you two know each other?
We've known each other since year 2 when he came from Queensland.
Yeah.
And the kid had no friends.
Yeah.
So I took him under my wing, and ever since that day I've been mates with him. So
Yeah. It's been a long journey.
yeah, very long. But now look where we are. We're on a couch together.
I know. I've made it big because of you. I'm on the Cast Patrol podcast. You're
And now we're going
to your 4 listeners.
Yeah, and we're going down to 0 after you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Camo.
All right, well, let's kick things off with a bang. So basically, we said that you were the missing member of the Cast Patrol.
Yeah.
The fourth member. How you came to join the Cast Patrol? I think it was months of begging us to be a part of.
I wouldn't say begging.
Was it begging?
I'd say I just sparked an interest, and then I had a few cast events happen, and I think you thought I was applicable for the role.
Yeah, well, we thought you were very good for the role, but you had some extra perks that we liked. That in mind are 4 membership tickets to the Royal Randwick course every Saturday.
I was just using it for my membership.
Yeah, we use it for that. And how did you join Cast?
So he was very keen. We were keen to have him on board, but as every business, we had to go through a strict procedure.
Yeah.
So we made him format a resume,
Yeah.
make it cast related, and then send it in to us. So
I'd actually stop you there. I think it actually started first. Well, it kind of happened to me. It's one of those things where
Was it brought upon you,
You know, they say you don't choose it; it chooses you.
Yep.
And unfortunately, the Cast Patrol chose me. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know what we're patrolling, but this story's been told before. But it was probably back when you had 2 listeners. Now those extra 2 listeners that haven't heard it, I'll say it again.
Thanks, Camo.
It was one night I was at my girlfriend's place.
oh, you have a girlfriend?
Oh, you have a girlfriend.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, mate.
Well done. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
I know Jimmy found love.
There you go,
I'm
mate.
going to get into it. But you guys called me up and said, hey, let's go to the Bay. And I admit I was being a bit lame. I said, yeah, I'll drive.
Yep.
I drove there, and this is my first fun occasion, I guess, with the Cast Patrol. We were sitting in line at the Coogee Bay Hotel, and it's a massive line. I remember me and Mick are just sitting there like as a pair, and my ex-girlfriend walks past. Hadn't seen my ex-girlfriend for, I think it was a good year and a half. And like, she's gone. Like, she obviously saw me. She looked the other side, but she's gone. We don't need to.
She was like 15 metres past.
She was
gone home.
She's
gone.
She's gone.
About to jump in the cab. See you later.
Literally. And of course, Mick being Mick just calls out her name. And
As you do.
As you do, yeah.
As you do. You have to.
And just because he just thrived on having an awkward encounter anyway. So I say hello to her. That was okay. I go inside, and then me and Jimmy are looking for a table.
We were.
We're looking for a table where you guys were getting some drinks. And I wasn't drinking at the time because I was driving there. And I remember going around, there's this girl, and she's like 10 meters away from me. And we're looking for a table, and Jimmy's like so confused because she's staring at me, and she's like, I hate everything about you.
Yeah.
She's like, I hate you. I hate everything about you.
Just starts spraying
I'm
Camo.
like, who is this chick? I was so confused. 'Cause
Yeah.
like, firstly, why is there no seats? It's only a Saturday night. And secondly, like, this chick's just spraying me, and she's with this guy. This guy's so confused.
She's probably on like a first day date.
Yeah.
She's like giving it up, sacrifice her date just to roast you.
Just to roast me. I know, I'm just that type of guy. And she's given it to me. I remember because we were walking around, and as we kind of circled her looking for a table, she just kept going. And it was the same thing.
Like across the Coogee Bay Hotel, just spraying Camo.
Was it bad, Jimmy?
It was bad. Like, I don't know what was going on. Like, yeah, I don't know what possessed her, but
And is that the moment you knew you were cast, Camo?
It wasn't the moment, actually.
Okay,
It
so
wasn't the
you
moment.
were still in doubt.
I just thought it was one of those unlucky nights.
You were in
obviously,
denial.
I got a shitmate like Mick, and he's made me have an awkward encounter. But then turns out it was one of her friends, and I don't know what the go was, but she was abusing the shit out of me. And I was
One of your ex-girlfriend's friends?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
So I was heavily confused, and Jimmy was more confused because he was thinking, what's going on? Anyway, we go back, and I said, stuff this, I'm not driving. I call my dad. I said, you got to pick up the car tomorrow. I gotta have a few drinks after this. Like,
Yeah.
I've been 5 minutes to the Coogee Bay and I've
Drink
already
the
had
pain away.
2 of the worst encounters already. Anyway, we're sitting there, and I just remember we kept on doing rounds back and forth, and then suddenly, like, Mick was going to get a drink, and Mick comes back. And it's this guy just going off his head. He's going off his head like, "Hey boys!" He's hugging us all. And I'm going, "Who is it?" And Mick's brought this bloke to our table. And you know when someone brings that drunk bloke to your table, and you're like, "Oh, jeez, come on, Mick." Anyway, it was Reed Mahoney.
From the Parramatta Eels,
Parramatta Eels
now
hooker.
Bulldogs.
Yeah.
Ripping at the Coogee
I don't know
Bay.
why he wanted to sit with us.
Ripping and tearing.
He was ripping and tearing, but he
Yeah.
left his mates, and he's sitting there, and he sat with us for
Like
most of the
30
night.
an hour.
Yeah.
And he was FaceTiming Micah Sivo on the phone saying, "Come to the Bay, or just because you knocked out Teddy."
Yeah. He was
Come
just
on.
spraying Steve.
Come on, you're not better
It's
than us.
bad.
You knocked out Teddy. Hurry up.
Yeah.
And then it just kept going and going. And so he kept going back and forth to his table. And he's going off his head, and we're like punting on the dogs together and stuff like that. It
Off
was
our
just
phone.
off the phone. It was just
Like
like
$1.60
one of those things. You're like,
faves.
what's going on? Like, who's orchestrating this? Is this like is someone setting me up?
Well, we think it's the cast gods. So for those that don't know, me, Aiden, and Jimmy, we've hung out a fair bits. But what we normally do is we take someone under our wing every now and then and take them
do.
on a cast night. And
Like a bit of a trial run.
yeah, it's like coming off the bench, like Andrew Fafita. And you got to step up to the platter.
I didn't choose for the cast night.
No, you don't choose it.
Seems like you chose it for me.
Exactly, yeah. And one thing is you have to come off the bench, and Cameron definitely did. But they got the cast gods.
But he was forced to come off the bench.
Oh,
The
yeah.
coach just put him on,
Yeah.
and he had no choice but to just run on, do his best.
Yeah, but it was one of those things where, you know, when you like, I remember I was only a small bloke. I wasn't that good at footy, but like I got put into locks sometimes. And you know, you're just stuck in the middle of the field and you get hit up after hit up after hit up. You smack it.
that was your cast
You're
night.
in the washing machine.
Yeah, it was in the
It's
washing
like
machine.
bang,
I'm going,
bang,
what's
bang.
going on?
It's the cast gods to test if you actually cast or you're just putting on the front.
Yeah.
And you were there.
So is that when you knew you were cast?
That's when I knew I was cast. And I finished that night going home going like, what's going on?
And is it after that you did the resume?
Yeah, it's after I did the resume.
So you applied.
Resume was New Year's Eve.
We didn't
yeah.
force you. You applied.
Well, I just thought, like, what a special club, you know. So I thought I might apply for the resume and got my.
Do you remember anything that you put on the resume?
Oh, it was like cast moment. What's the most you've punted on a? What's the most you've lost?
That's funny you don't really remember it because we actually have it here. This is Cameron Hayes' resume. We're not going to put it as a pop. We're just going to read it because there's some things that he probably doesn't want getting out to the public. So, start off. Cameron sends an email to all three of us. We're not going to say our emails because we don't want your spam. He goes, "Dear Cast HR Officer, please see the attached resume for the position of Cast Ordinary Member. Let me know if you have any questions. Kind regards, Cameron Hay." Cameron Hay starts his resume with, "I'm current punter family member seeking the admission and title of being a Cast Patrol member." He's given us a SWOT analysis
Loser right now.
with his strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. His strengths: thoroughbred knowledge, insider at successful syndication company. Weaknesses: has a girlfriend.
Michaela, tune
change
out
that?
right now.
May be caught in differing commitments. That's fair enough. Opportunities. See, he knows how to work us. Has a races membership and can get guest passes.
That was
Yeah.
the main factor.
That was
I
good.
think
For
That was a
only
big
reason
factor.
you guys did it.
That was a
Yeah,
big
literally.
factor.
We didn't even read anything. We just saw race membership and we just, that's
Yeah.
the one.
House is always open for any cast gatherings. That's very true.
That's true. Yeah.
True, yep.
Threats. Is hated by the love of Jimmy's life, whoever that may be at the time.
Right.
Well, Jimmy moves quick, so luckily he now has a new lover.
Jimmy's settled in love.
He's in love now.
Threats. Is not available for occasional cast gathering due to girlfriend commitments.
Yeah.
that's fair enough.
That's put it out there.
Yeah, no, you've done
Yeah,
well.
love
So you,
honest.
so you
You are
submitted
honest.
that
Love is
resume
love. Love
and
is
then we called you up,
Yeah, I made it to the interview stage.
interview stage.
Yeah.
Do
I
you
don't
want
know
to
how
talk?
many other applicants there were.
Do you want to talk
Oh,
us
there were
through?
a lot. There were a lot.
Do you want to talk us through the initial interview? Was that at the park?
It was the park, yeah. Was that your birthday? and
My
New Year's
birthday,
Eve?
New Year's Eve. Yeah. How was
Pitch
that?
black in a park.
What did we tell you to do?
Well, I just remember Age calling me and being like, dress up in a suit. I feel like I'm getting the worst reputation in this podcast. I put in a resume to be part of this stupid club.
Okay, we'll cut that out.
Mate, do you want to be Fafita off the bench or what?
Yeah, I'm like Ben Lowe off the bench.
Like, Ben Lowe will never be on the bench. How dare you.
Yeah. I just remember you telling me go dress up in your Sunday's best and come down to the park and
In your finest suit was the words.
So in like a birthday gather, you rocked up in a suit. Full suit.
Yeah,
Head to
yeah.
toe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then was there any?
I was surprised there wasn't any other applicants there.
Oh no, because
Like, there was no one else.
we already did them before.
Oh, we did before.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Oh, we
they
weren't happy.
left.
They didn't
Yeah,
cut
that made me
it.
feel
They
better.
left
That made me feel
already.
better.
They didn't
It wasn't
cut
just desperation. Yeah.
Yeah, no, they didn't
Yeah.
cut it. Did we make you do anything during the interview?
Yeah. That
Anything
you
in
can think
particular
of?
that you can think of? That may have been outside the box from like a
Bit of
HR
left field,
perspective?
like something left field.
Recruitment.
No, don't remember.
Mick,
I
do you
think we
wanna-
passed on that. We passed on that.
I definitely remember. I think we keep that hidden. It's the same coming from embarrassment.
Yes.
I will go over one thing on the resume that I like to point out. This is how committed he was to cast. We asked him, how would you define cast? And Cameron writes the best poem you'd ever want to read, ever.
I don't remember this at all.
Right there.
Oh my god. This is a long poem, Camo. Cast cannot be merely grass in an objective definition, such as you would want. Would you wait? No, I've lost this. Camo, do you want to read it for us?
I'll read it for you
Because
if you
I don't
want.
understand how you're writing these words.
Cast cannot be merely grasped in an objective definition, such as you would with a brick on a road. Cast can be described. Cast cannot be described through a situational feeling, thought, or expression. Cast is not a positive nor negative feeling. It cuts out on either side, so it's a bit hard to. It's a lack of dichotomous notions. Deem it with a unique quality that you cannot seek, but only one that comes to you when you are with the fellow Cast Patrol members. A few examples for elaboration. Driving to Wyong to see a horse come second last is cast. Playing and getting slapped for it is cast.
Yes, that was Mix X, by the way. Slap me.
Sleeping until 5 p.m. is cast.
It used to be Adrian.
Used
Used
to
to have
be
a
me.
job.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Adrian was in the air.
Before the Cast Patrol, now I'm fucking not sleeping at all.
Yeah, geez, I'll bury that and burn that.
Bury that away. It's on the emails for
That's
sure.
already framed.
But look, obviously you passed in flying colours your interview, and we gave you the title of cast intern, and I think you lived up to the platter. You did well. Shout out to you, Cameron.
Thanks, yeah.
You did very well, Camo.
You've been promoted since cast consultant now.
Consultant, yeah, because I come in and out, jump on the potty every now and then.
You're just too busy.
Yeah, it gets like that.
What takes up your time, Camo?
I do I work part time, still at uni, but also most of my time's been done through Racing Thoroughbreds, a syndication company I run with my family.
How about we just touch on Pulse a bit now? So how long you been doing Pulse and like why'd you start it?
So yeah, we
And,
started.
and explain what a syndication company is, because there's people out there that don't understand what it is.
Yeah, I'll explain the history first because it kind of ties in better with the way it works. But we kind of, my dad used to buy shares in horses and like it was one day actually won on the punt. He won $4,000 on the punt. You always have those huge days, and his dream was to buy a share in a racehorse. And I won't name which syndication company it was, but he kind of realised that. You can get taken advantage of a lot in the horse racing industry through just high costs, lack of communication, and it really just not a real fun experience around the horse racing. The horse didn't win a race, which obviously didn't help with the experience, but also we kind of just came from the idea that, why don't we just put on something that and grow a community where of horse race ownership, and we've been building ever since. That was about 5 years ago.
Yeah, and we've been to a few events. They're pretty good. The Christmas parties,
The Pulse events, yeah, very
all the
good.
Pulse events, free booze, free fee catered for you.
Good
Yeah.
guess.
I will say, like, we looked at a few syndication companies when we wanted to invest our money into a horse, but Pulse was above and beyond anything that we've seen.
I feel like they're like the people's company.
Yes.
They're not the biggest, but they look after the customers.
I look after the clients.
And we've been very well looked after, especially with our horse. We got Warilla Gorilla, recently named and recently gelded.
So yeah, cue the laughter. It is a shocking name, Warilla Gorilla. But when you see it flying down the outside, you'll be laughing.
Yeah, they always sound better when they win.
Yeah, 100%.
Exactly.
When do you reckon good old Warilla will start racing?
So he's by shooting to win, and out of a Testarossa mare. So if he comes more to like the Testarossa side, where they're more early 2-year-olds, but most likely who run probably most of his career as a 3-year-old. We like to have one start at least as a 2-year-old. But Brett Lazzarini, the trainer at Kem Lagrange, he's fairly conservative in the way he pushes horses, which is I think a good thing, but it takes a bit of patience. I think he'll have his first start, let's say, in 4 months' time, and then he'll probably be better as a 3-year-old.
So early in the new year, we'll probably see our horse
Yeah,
do a trial or...
Yeah, he'll get to a trial.
Yeah.
We definitely get to a jump out next prep. So he's currently in the paddock right now, and he'll get to a jump out next preparation. Then after that, the preparation after that would probably test him with a trial and maybe a race.
Jimmy's always wanted to be a jockey. Is there any chance we could get him on the saddle?
How much does he claim? 10 kilos?
Give or take.
We're gonna need it because
Yeah,
probably
no,
weighing
Why
a bit
not?
too much.
I've seen you ride home some winners, and you got a good action on you.
mate. If you ever need a claim, like, just get me on.
Sweet.
Sweet.
Sounds good.
I'm ready to go. How many do you guys have at the moment? How many horses?
We've got 5 horses at the moment.
Yeah.
One with Kieran Marr and Dave Eustace down in Victoria. That won a trial last week, and she's heading off to her first preparation soon. And there's another one. We got 2 with Clement Grange. With Brett
What are their
Lundgren.
names so people can watch out
We've
for
got
them?
Bo Constrictor in Victoria. We've got JX, who has shown some good ability in her first preparation with Brett Lazzarini at Kembla Grange. There's Rilla Gorilla, of course.
Up the gorilla.
Up the Gorilla. And then Martini Crusader, who's based at Hawkesbury. And he'll be aiming for big dance nomination races into next year.
Oh,
which
wow.
hopefully will be
That'd be great.
a big $2 million race.
How good's that?
Is there any other horses that you're looking to syndicate and maybe our listeners could get involved with eventually down the path?
Oh, not right now. We've all our horses are fully sold out, but we head to the sales next year. We got the English Classic sale in February, and the Magic Millions, and then a few other sales there. But we're more of a boutique syndication company. We'd rather, like, we go to many sales and we're looking for the right horse at the right value. We're not just going to buy a horse just to sell it.
I remember you told me you went to like Queensland like 2 weeks in a row or some shit, and you didn't buy a horse.
Yeah.
I'm like,
So last year we went
Pickier than my girlfriend.
went
Mate. What's going on?
your girlfriend's so we went to Magic Millions last year, then we went to English Classic sale, and then we went to, it wasn't until the English, so like that's over 3,000 horses that we've inspected, from the farms to using our bloodstock agent to inspecting for us, doing second looks, third looks, plus vet inspections, and trying to do our diligence as much as possible. We couldn't find anyone within like a value for clients, and that's what we're kind of looking for most. And so we finally got the Rilla Gorilla at the English Premier sale.
So you got some good bang for your buck there.
Yeah, I think it was amazing value.
How much did you buy it for? Was it 40,000?
30K.
30K.
Yeah, 30K. And then we bought, I did mention, we got Feel the Magic, who's a Rubik, soon to be gelding at Michael Freeman at Randwick.
Very nice. Our horse is going to get gelded as well.
Yeah.
Why do we get it gelded? Like, what's the benefit for us?
Because I know a mate who probably needs their balls chopped off, sitting on the left of me.
Yeah, sitting on the left of me as well, Jim.
Sitting on the right of me, yes.
Camo. Camo does have
I've already
big
talked
balls.
about
Camo has big balls. He needs to get him gelded.
Does Camo have big balls?
Massive balls.
Well,
Can you vouch for that, Camo?
unhealthy.
comment.
Like unhealthy big balls.
Have you had him
Like
checked
swollen.
out before?
like massive balls?
swollen?
Like that's his party trick, flopping his balls out.
What? Is that what he does at parties?
That's what he does. He flops them out, and they're massive.
And then what happens after that?
Oh, I don't think he has a dick though. He just has balls.
There's not much been flopped out.
No, it's just the balls.
It's the reverse gelding.
But like, why would you, if you were a horse, Camo, why would you need to chop your balls off?
Oh, there's
What-
kind of 2 main factors. The first one is obviously their behaviour, and that's most of the time you geld a horse. Like, because they just get too colty. They're not thinking about racing. And, we've all seen the examples.
Very erratic.
Marzu,
Yeah.
Colding,
Colding.
all those ones where the ultimate gear change just switches them on and makes them into a racehorse.
Yeah.
And the other one is they can put a bit too much weight on. I think that's more the Rilla Gorilla's problem. Like, he had a great temperament throughout the sale, and he's a great temperament in his work. And he's had really good hype with the way he's been working.
Yeah.
But he's just putting a little bit too much weight, and they've only got, tiny legs for 500 kilos. So, I think it's better to geld them at this stage and then turn them into a real racehorse, and it doesn't make them as bulky with all the testosterone.
Love it. That's perfect.
Well, let's take things back to cast and your cast night outings with us. You obviously can't talk about everything because I'm sure your family and girlfriends are listening to this podcast.
Probably can't talk about 80% of it.
80%. But for the stuff that you can talk about, is there any stories that you have of us that our listeners probably haven't heard of that you've had direct involvement with?
That's PG.
That's PG.
And
Jeez.
entertaining.
There's a few nice ones.
A few standouts.
Yeah, there's a few standouts. Of course, I'm not sure if it's been said before, but there was the notorious trip to Three Wise Monkeys with yourself, Jim,
Yes.
and probably the greatest $20 cash I've ever spent in my life.
The cargo pants.
Yeah, I think this is creating a bad image for the viewers. I have to bring in. So we went to Korean barbecue, I think it was.
Yeah.
The ultimate combo, Korean barbecue first.
It was Jimmy's farewell.
Jimmy's farewell.
My
One of
favourite.
them
Queensland.
That was it.
For
How long
work.
did you go for in the end, Queensland?
A year.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Sad times.
Yeah.
And,
So we want to go out and celebrate.
Yeah, I want to go out and celebrate.
We went races that day, didn't we?
We did.
We did.
Oh, we had a big day. Yeah, we went
We
racing.
went races.
Then Korean barbecue.
Who was that bloke that was performing? Was it John Stewart?
No,
not John Stewart.
it's the guy that used to be in Excess. Anyway, keep talking. I'll get
Yeah,
you.
John Stewart.
John Stewart. Jimmy's
John
keen on
Stewart.
John Stewart.
Jimmy's adamant.
Jimmy was off his head, so I don't trust him. I don't think it was John Stewart.
John Stevens.
John Stevens.
There we go, John Stevens.
Anyway, John Stevens.
See,
is
we went back
probably-
to mine and then had a few Panadol, caffeine Panadols.
Oh, they're the best.
Panadol
Instant recovery.
extras?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they're the best.
They just pick you up. And then we went out. So we went Korean barbecue, and then we were sitting in line. I remember we were sitting in line. Well, I don't know why so many bad stories happen in line. But we're sitting in line there, and and of course Jimmy, like it wasn't even summer, but like he's wearing
Shorts.
He's wearing shorts right now, like dressy shorts. He's probably wearing those
It was
shorts.
probably
It's
those
probably
exact
those
shorts.
And then the security guard's like, "Nah, sorry, mate, sorry."
No shorts allowed.
And then I
Only
remember,
longs.
I remember I look over and I just spot this like right in the edge of it. There was this homeless man, and the homeless guy's looking at me. He's just like nodding, and I'm going like,
What's going on
"What's
here?
going on?" And
Yeah.
like Jimmy's like, "Oh, it's done, boys. Let's like I won't be able. If I can't get in here at Three Wise Monkeys, not the greatest establishment.
Yeah, it's
in the
literally a
world.
pub.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a pub. Yeah.
I'm not going to get anywhere." And then I see him. And he's holding up these beautiful. They were like had patches in them.
They were
Yeah,
green,
they were
charcoal green. they were
cargo.
like-
They were
cargo pants. Yeah.
The cargo,
Cargo
they were
pants,
like
yeah.
a triple
They were
XL,
shocking.
and they were just the most disgusting pants. He's holding them up, and he just knew. Like you look him in the eye,
He knew. He was
I've got
waiting
the
for this
solution to
moment.
your problem.
He was
he's-
waiting for this.
He was making bank from his homeless man cargo pants.
Yep.
And I remember looking at it, and then we looked at each other, and I was like, "Oh, who's got cash?" And so I pulled out a 20. I gave him a 20, and we've loaned. Emphasis on
Rented
loan.
these
rented these
cargo
cargo pants, which yeah, you have to get paid a lot of money to even get seen in them.
Oh,
But like Jimmy had to fire up, and yeah, we
got in though.
got in.
Thank
It
God.
worked.
But we weren't even in there for long.
We weren't in there for long. No, we
So
weren't.
Jimmy was wearing these pants and in there was dead, and like we left after 15 minutes,
Yeah.
and then paid $20, returned the pants, and that's it. You got rolled.
I often think about that. The fact that you wore a homeless man's pants. Like, who knows what that? How long
Yeah,
he was
look.
wearing them for? How long he had him in his possession?
It's one of those things you have to do.
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do. Sometimes.
Cast night out.
Yeah, it's
You
your
just have to be
farewell as
cast.
well.
Have to be cast.
As you said, it's cast.
That
It's
was
cast.
proper cast.
Yeah. But that was a good night. Where did we go after that?
Fuck knows if I can remember.
I don't even know what I did for breakfast last night.
Fuck, that was a long time ago,
Jesus.
eh?
That was a long time ago.
What else you got for us in your back pocket?
Give us
Camo?
more juice, Camo.
Give us
What
more
else?
juice.
What else you got for us? That was
Well, I'll
pretty
give
good.
you like just a small one anyway. Like if you get to know you guys as much as I've known you guys, again, it's something that chooses you, and I probably wouldn't ask for. But I remember we were just punting out here in the courtyard at Mick's place, and we were, I was just having the worst day. Of course, I whacked Nature Strip and Everest.
Like we all
It
did.
was the worst because it was like a special. It was like put 100 on, you get it back if it comes if it loses pretty much.
Yeah.
But it was only for tote. I put it on fixed. Of course, Nature Strip gets rolled.
Was that on
Giggy
tab?
Giggy. Yeah, it was on tab.
They've done it to me so
That's
many
not good.
times.
Tote like
Because they
seriously?
flip between
Wait, it has to
tote
be
and
on
giggy.
tote.
It has to be on tote.
Oh,
Specials
that's
on
fucked.
tote.
Who
Of
does
course,
it
we
on
didn't find out
tote?
till after.
Oh,
That's bad.
We were watching Giggy Kick just roll Nature Strip.
yeah.
But yeah, we've all been done on Nature Strip. I'm not unique there.
Hardest one to pick. Just, I always miss it. Every time it wins, I'm off
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
When I think it's immoral,
He's hard to catch.
he loses.
Yeah, and then I remember I could not pick anything. Like we've all had those days where because we were sitting there in the backyard, like
And when you're
losers.
drinking, it doesn't
Yeah,
help, you know?
You're just there, you just like everything. No matter what I was doing, I was like taking Jimmy's tips. Everyone was losing. I wouldn't back Jimmy for one, and he'd get up, and then I'd like take another mixed tips there, and they'd be losing, and I was just like, I reckon I put in like 25 bets. I was losing.
No
so I
one
was
winner.
down like I think I was down like $400, right?
Yeah.
And so like it's a fair amount to be down at like 5 o'clock in the afternoon before you're about to go out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I remember I look over and and one of our mates, Tommy, had his brother talk to Tony Gollan and
trainer.
the trainer.
Oh,
and Tony Gollan said, "Oh, mass destruction in the last is immoral."
Yeah.
But Tony Gollan, like, of course. Anyway, I'm not going to get into it. But like,
He had another horse in the race.
Like, I
The
blame
stablemate
myself.
won.
I blame
Yeah.
myself because who takes that? Like, it's always like, oh, my mate's brother's sister's dog owns
Yeah.
that horse, and it's gonna
Yeah.
win. And it always gets rolled. You know what I mean?
Inside mail,
of course,
mate,
mass
inside
destruction was like 220.
Yeah.
I remember looking at Jim, And I was like, I never chase normally, but I look at Jim and I trust his opinion. Everyone's seen his tips. Everyone's been on Dabble and seen his tips.
He knows his horses.
But I go and I'm like, Jim, should I put 400 on this and chase? And then Jim just looks me in the eye and with all his confidence just goes, yeah. And I'm like, you sure? You sure? And he's like, he just wins.
And you trust him with your balls. You trust Jim with your
I trust
balls.
Jim with everything. He put cargo pants on for me. I trusted him. Who knows what diseases he could have got from that.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Mass Destruction gets rolled by F Troop.
The stablemate. F Troop hasn't won
I was
in
paying like
Tony Gold.
$8, wasn't it?
Yeah.
F Troop.
Hasn't won in about 3 years.
Yeah.
So
Just gets rolled. And so, that's the fun of just being around these boys, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you just proper cast.
One story that I'd like to touch on, I don't think we've said on the podcast before, but for my birthday, we decided to go to Byron Bay. Jimmy was already up there in his Queensland holiday, and I said, all right, boys, we're going to catch plane with Jetstar. Jetstar could be easily the shittest flight company in Australia, maybe the world. I'm not sure.
I'd say they're up there.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, when you lose so much money in the punt, you have to use Jetstar.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like 2-minute noodles, you know?
So roughly we had a Jetstar flight depart at 8 a.m. And us three were on the flight with some of my other mates. And it was a bit rainy. They said, Ballina's a bit hard to land at, one of the toughest airports. It's raining, but you'll be right. That's okay. So we go there. As the plane's landing, it's probably an hour flight, if that. As the plane's landing, see, Cameron's getting PTSD already.
Likewise.
And Adrian hates flying. So as we're about to land the aircraft, the wheels touch the tarmac. And as they touch, we're like, oh, yeah. And then you hear the engines go, ooh. And this thing just goes, big noise. And you're like, ooh, I haven't heard this one. This is an interesting sound. And then this plane just takes off back into the sky. You're like,
what's going on?
that's not meant to happen. We're meant to be in
It's the
Ballina.
worst feeling thinking you're going to land and just get like another takeoff and you're back in the air. You're like,
So then you're like,
what
okay,
are we doing?
they're gonna circle around and then
try and land back again. Yeah.
little to our knowledge, over the aircraft, the PA comes on and says, okay, we failed landing in Ballina. We'll now be returning to Sydney. And what was the look on your face? How were you feeling in that moment, Cameron?
I was playing 8-ball pool. I actually didn't worry. That didn't worry me that much. I thought, look, it's a bit silly. You can easily go to Gold Coast.
Yeah, exactly.
But, like, whatever.
Yeah, why have to go
Mass
all the way back
Destruction
to
gets
Sydney?
beaten. We're going back to Sydney. Whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Life goes
to
on.
move on.
Yeah, so we go back to Sydney, and my mum's always taught me that if the plane gets delayed or anything like that, you be the first one to the consultants. She told me, she said, go there, you go straight to the travel desk, and you get on that next flight to wherever it is, because there's people that will miss out. So what do? I run like a gazelle, Usain Bolt, anything in between. I get there. It's me, Cameron, and Corey, our mate Grousey.
So left us behind. They left me, Auntie, and
Tommy, Eb, Christian.
Yeah.
There was 5 of you.
They just dogged us. They just sprinted off. We're like, fuck, these guys are keen.
I was like, I'm going to try and get all of us on the next flight. But if they can't, oh well. So at least I'm sorted for my birthday. Bit of a selfish play.
It was selfish.
So
but it is your birthday.
We're in the
so let
line
it slide.
and they're like, there's 2 flights. One's going to go to Gold Coast. One's going to go to Ballina. But the Gold Coast one, you end up flying in at 11 p.m. at night.
Yeah, it was a late one.
It's a big delay, 6 hours in between, even longer flight, 1 hour bus ride down to Ballina. And they're like, to me, Cameron and Corey, since you guys are here first, we're getting you on a flight to Ballina. It's taken off in 30 minutes or something. I'm like, oh, okay, sweet. Naivety kicked in and we just thought, let's get on. So we do, Camo. We got on the flight. Then what happened?
Because there was only 3 of us on the flight. So there was all these other people that they were just chilling, think it was a normal Ballina flight. And so we're cruising along, I remember, and as we were going down, and this guy, I reckon, maybe it's because I was just playing 8-ball pool the first time. But this guy, it was like you were going through clouds and we were just shaking, turbulence to the top. And he came through, because it's the smallest runway in Australia.
Yeah.
And then
And we knew if
And it was bad weather,
he didn't
100%.
land this plane,
we knew
we're
that there was
going back
weird
to
policy
Sydney
that they don't go to Gold Coast and they go straight back to Sydney.
after they've already fucked up the mistake once today.
Yeah, and then we're about to touch the ground. I remember it, and to admit it, like I actually thought I would rather fly up in the sky right now
Than
because
crash.
It was because you were shaking that much.
I
And,
was so scared.
You were touching it, and it was like up and down, shaking. And everyone's like, "Oh, it's just normal landing," and we're thinking like,
We know what's
"We
going to
know
happen.
what's gonna
Deja
happen.
vu.
We know." And then you just hear the, and you just
Okay.
you fly
Takes
straight
off
up.
again. Did he hit the ground, do you reckon?
He did, but this one was worse. This one was like
It was just flying on the ground.
it was like I reckon, honestly, I'm probably exaggerating, but one of the wings felt like it was touching
So it just
the ground.
bounced.
Oh yeah.
It was going left, right, left, and we was like, oh, we're going to die here
Yeah.
if this guy doesn't
Yeah.
So he
pull
just
up.
took off again.
And so, yeah, we went
So he's,
back
he's
to
flying,
Sydney.
and then like no one else knew that we're going back to Sydney. Everyone's just going, oh, okay,
And we're
that's
going,
a weird type of land, and we're like, no. And then it was just looking like idiots at the back of the plane, knowing that we've just spent like 8 hours.
Oh, more. I think by the
Travelling.
time we got back, it was like
100%.
10 p.m. at night, and I was like, Cameron, we're driving. He's like, I'm not going, Byron. Like, that's it. That's it. It's over.
Yeah, you didn't come, did you? Come.
Went home.
Yeah. You were just done.
I already pulled the pin before that. After that first one, I was like, "There's no fucking way I'm getting back on a Jetstar plane
Do you get like a refund and
ever
stuff?
again."
Yeah, I got a refund.
Oh, that's all
But-
right.
Got on Jetstar, but
I didn't get. Me and Grasso had to go to the airport the next day, catch an 8 a.m. flight, and I was like, "Oh, like this happened to us yesterday. Can you give us fucking anything?" I would have taken a peanut at this point. They gave me nothing. They said, "Oh, it's due to weather conditions." Yeah, I fucking know. I was on the plane and it was shaking.
Like a beer on the plane.
Yeah, anything. They gave me nothing. So fuck you, Jetstar. I haven't been back with you
Cold
since.
sandwich, anything.
And if you actually think about going with Jetstar on any future flights, don't. Just pay that little bit extra. Get that comfort and get that security and knowing that you're not going on a shit airline.
Yeah, I'm off him massively and never again. Over my dead body. I'm not going on Jetstar. Sickening.
Would you agree, Cameron?
I'd say it was a pretty shit day.
Yeah, it was a
You
shit
know what I
day.
mean? But you could say you went back to Byron twice.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
And I took 2 flights to Byron and ended in Sydney.
I went
So-
to Byron for a total of 5 seconds.
I don't think
So
you
good
were
fun.
in Byron, Adrian.
Ballina. I was in Ballina.
You and Ballina. Yeah.
That's almost as bad as like losing your formal date to your best mate.
Oh, yeah. We got to bring this up.
This
Cameron,
is a beauty.
I have to
So-
bring it up.
This,
I
no,
think
no, we
this
do.
actually the way it's.
Hey, there's two
Well,
sides of a story.
There always
Yeah.
is two
We-
sides.
we wanna hear-
I'll
I've
start
heard,
inside themselves.
I've heard about 5 different stories of this. I just want, let's clear it up.
Age is just.
I'll
just
start-
hold
I
wanna
to a
clear
vibe.
it
I'll
up.
start with
Turn
my
on.
side, and then Cameron, you can start on
Why
your
don't I
side.
start with my side and then you?
No, because that's not how it
How
works.
about you guys? How about you guys just intertwine at different times?
Okay, we can do
Okay, so I'll start with my. So it was formal, year 12 formal, and I didn't have a formal date. The girl I was speaking to, I was a bit too hesitant. She got asked by someone,
Yep.
and then I asked two mates. They're both going with someone already, so I've been rejected 3 times.
Yeah.
And I was like, shit, there's like 1 week left, or like there was like 3 days left. I need a formal date, so I'm gonna ask my good mate Holly McManus,
Yep.
and I'm like, Camo, I'm gonna ask Holly. You gonna look at me when I'm like, Camo, I'm gonna ask Holly. I'm gonna take her to formal. Like,
You never, that's not
Fucking poor Holly just got name dropped.
that is a fact.
She's just fallen off the chair. Listen to this. Fucking hell.
true. I guarantee you, Holly.
That is a fact. So I told
Holly's a nice woman. She would come over the
Oh,
cast.
gee whiz.
Camo was fully aware that I was going to ask her.
Yeah.
And
I was
the
not
next,
fully aware.
excuse me, sir, can you just give me some airspace? So the next day I've gone and asked her about, I remember the time was like 3 p.m. It was just after like period 5. And I've asked her and I get a message back, sorry, I'm already going someone, like I'd love to, all this bullshit. And I'm like, out of curiosity, like, who are you going with? And she says, Cameron Hay. My best fucking mate. He snaked me and he took my formal date. What do you have to say for yourself,
Cameron, that's
sir?
one of the biggest snakings of all time.
That's not the biggest snakings of all time.
But why did you do it?
Because
Or what went through your head? Like, what was the thought process about this?
I had a bit of foresight. I could see
Okay.
that Adrian. I could just see something for age. You know,
You could see the future.
I could see the future.
You thought I could do better?
You know what I mean? I could, like I see Rilla Gorilla winning an Everest. I could see age find love of his life through this interaction. And I'm not talking about Holly McManus, so you can get back on the chair, Holly McManus. But yeah, well, I remember because I was not in the conversation. You were in a group conversation.
I think I literally told you to your face.
You did not tell me to my face. I remember it because I was on the edge. We had a little triangle. I was on the edge. I was in a different conversation. I was probably talking about
Pulse.
pulse. I was probably trying to
Gay Waterhouse.
Gay Waterhouse.
We'll get into Gay Waterhouse
Yeah.
later. Yeah.
Usual
Yeah.
things that a cool Year 12 person talks about.
Yeah.
And I did not hear it. And I remember that night, I was always planning on asking her. I asked her on the bus home. And then suddenly
You
Age
took the
comes
bus
in.
with her? You're on the bus with her?
I was on the bus.
But you never
Oh,
told
just-
me
yeah.
that you asked her
But
to
like, no one
save
was
me the
telling each other.
embarrassment.
No, but I didn't know you were going to ask her.
But you should have told me, oh, I'm going to formal
Anyway,
Holly,
I had
mate.
the foresight that because of that, my mum actually set Adrian up with his now long-term girlfriend.
Yeah, so it's been 5 years.
It's been 5
And
years.
Jimmy, can you tell us this story?
Because
about-
you know it off
'cause
by heart.
I'll just fill you guys in. Every podcast we do, Jimmy sits there and impersonates me. and pretends to be me and tells the same story. So why don't you just tell it?
Say like age, lift the shirt up a little bit, show the bit of the
Show a
tongue.
bit of the gut.
Yeah, so for those that don't know, I've been dating Sophia, my now girlfriend, for 5 years. You would have heard the story. Cameron obviously staked my former date. But this is where the story gets interesting. Cameron Hayes' mum was at the nail salon and she was talking with my now godmother.
He knows it off by heart. Keep going.
And yeah, look, she teed it up for me. She showed a photo of Adrian to Sophia's Sophia's mum. Sorry, oh no, auntie, Sophia's auntie.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Yeah, sweet, I'll tee it up." And then you actually saw her at a party that weekend, didn't you, Adrian?
I did. And what did we do, Jimmy?
You just hit it off.
We hit it off.
Well done, Jimmy.
You just
Nailed
knew.
it.
So if it wasn't for me accidentally not hearing you and taking your formal date, you wouldn't be in this successful relationship you are.
Yeah.
Sliding doors opportunity.
It's a
So
sliding
I
door.
got to thank you. Thank you very much, Cameron.
No worries.
But sliding doors aside, I saw Holly at a party. Like this was about a few months ago. So this is six
Fuck,
years on.
get
from
off
the
your
event.
chair, Holly, again.
I actually said to her because obviously this is a big talking point in,
a
our, in
debate.
our lives.
It's a big debate.
And this debate's been going on for 6 years. And I'm like, I'm going to hear it from her mouth.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like, oh, what do you think about Cameron snaking, what was it? Cameron snaking Adrian's formal date. And she goes, what do you mean? She had no idea of any snaking going on.
There you go.
She
She
just
had no
thought
idea. She
Cameron had chivalry and asked her out. That was it.
Wait, Adrian, did you
Little does she know.
Did you even message her?
message her
Maybe
about
you were
like
just dirty about
Yeah.
me asking her.
I
You made it up.
had the messages. I still on my phone if you want to see.
you got the receipts?
I've got the receipts.
Okay.
And she literally like, no, she didn't name drop. And I'm just like, oh, like who you going with? Cameron Hay. So no, I wasn't messaging her, Jimmy, but we're just good mates.
Yeah.
So I thought I'd ask her, be a friendly date.
Did she know it was coming?
No, she wouldn't have known. Because like we're just mates. It's not like we're like tuning or anything.
Right.
We're on the tune, mate.
Okay.
But thank you, Cameron, once again for snaking my formal date. It's worked out well this
worked out
time.
well,
But mates, guys out there, don't snake your mate. It's not right.
It's
Don't
not.
be like Camo.
This is why I'm not on the potty normally.
So
Cameron,
back during that time, Camo, you were working for Gay Waterhouse. Do you want to tell us how that was?
Yeah, it was good. I worked for Gay Waterhouse
Yeah.
just after graduating for a year. Did a bit of work on the horses, plus a bit of
Picking up
stable
their
hand stuff.
shit or
Yeah,
what?
bit of picking up a bit of horse shit.
Yeah.
Bit of truck work.
Yeah, a bit of track work. Oh, I wouldn't call it track work. I wasn't the best rider in the world. But yeah, we're working closely with Gay and Adrian. Was a good experience. Waking up at 2 a.m. was a bit hard, but
Yeah, that would have been so hard.
yeah, it's one of the
Jesus.
things you got to do. But it was, yeah.
What's she like, Gay?
She's just a unique character. Like she's exactly what you see on TV in terms of like very genuine, very like over the top and very caring. I remember once she, like I was growing my hair out and she said, Cameron. She said, your hair is too long. She goes, I'll book you in a hair appointment. I'm like, hair appointment? She's like, yeah. And then I get a message. I get a call.
Keep in mind, Camo gets his haircuts from me. So this kid's never had a haircut in his life.
big upgrade.
Big upgrade. Anything's an upgrade with money involved. I was just spin a few yards.
Wait, so where did she book you in the haircut?
Well, I got a call from a PA, and she goes, "Look, you got to travel to the city. You got a haircut tomorrow." I go, okay. I rock up, and it's this like pretty much one of the best in Sydney salons, and I was just, and so I went from like a $250 haircut with a beer, and then next morning I'm still shoveling horse shit. So I was like,
Polar
I had
opposites.
nice hair, like he's like full do the wash and everything, and
Yeah.
just to
Was it
shovel
worth
horse
it for
shit the next morning.
$250?
Oh, I wouldn't think so.
What did they do differently that
No,
I didn't do?
they look at you and they go like, "I give you the haircut. You don't ask for it." Like
You
he
just gotta-
says,
you
no,
gotta cop it.
Like when I go, "Hey, Age, can you give me a 3 on the sides?" Whatever
Yeah.
it is. He goes, No. I choose your hair based on your whatever it is. It wasn't that great of a haircut.
Your facial features or whatever.
Yeah.
And what they do, like a hot towel and all that?
Yeah,
wash
hot
hair,
towel, wash hair, everything. Yeah.
all the works.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Do you get
Not the funnest story in the world, but yeah, it shows the type of person she is. You know?
$250 haircut.
She's
She
very
looks after
generous.
you.
She's very generous, and she's yeah. I don't know how she's. If I had I don't have any of the energy here. She'd wake up at 2 a.m., do her full makeup, do a whole of track work, then she'd do stuff all day, stud tours, and like
Very
she's been doing it
passionate.
for the last 50 years. And you can see why she's been so successful.
Yeah, should be a great guest. Maybe you can get her on the potty, Camo.
Yeah, I'll reach out.
Yeah, 100%.
So you obviously know us more than anyone, Cameron. So how about we ask you some who's most likely questions, and then you say out of us three, who's
Or
most
you can say
likely.
yourself.
Okay.
Yeah, you can say yourself. So
You could.
we'll start things off. Who is most likely to be late to their own wedding?
Oh, Age.
That's
What
an
used
age.
to wake up at 5 p.m. every day?
Age would sleep in in his own wedding.
Yeah, probably
Like, he was
sleep
just
in.
nocturnal. You just like, what's going on, Age? You know what I mean? Like, why did you choose me to be your friend in year 2?
It was like cast. I didn't choose you. You chose me.
Yeah.
Who's most likely to get arrested on a night out?
Oh,
Probably
Probably
not Jimmy.
Mick,
Eh?
probably
Not
Mick.
Jimmy.
I'd say Mick. Look, none of you are
No,
likely
no,
to get
none of us
arrested
are
on
any
a-
close to getting
none are any
arrested,
close
but-
to getting arrested on a night out. But I've just seen like you get very sloppy at the end of your drunkenness. You know what I mean? Like you can see the type of guy like the police would find him somewhere or something like that. you know?
They'd get me. They get me
Yeah,
on
like
something.
nothing for anything bad. You get that sloppy drunk. You know, well,
Yeah.
Age and Jimmy are more on top.
That's fair.
Thanks, Camo.
Okay. I'm trying to not laugh at these ones.
How about I'll give you one, Camo. Who is the biggest heavyweight out of us
Drinking
in terms
wise?
of drinking?
Oh, I'd say I haven't seen Jim's edge. Like I'd say you over Mick, but I haven't seen you like that.
really
I'd say so
pissed.
it
Yeah.
must
you're
be
torn,
Jim.
aren't you?
Yeah, it must be Jim. Like Jim, you're light enough to be a jockey, but you do well for how light you are at age. You're not light enough to be a jockey.
Yeah, no way.
I think Jimmy caps himself off and then doesn't let him get to that point.
Yeah, Jimmy's
Yeah.
soft. Are you saying
Maybe
he's
Jimmy's
soft?
just soft. I change it to
It's
age,
called
it's
being
age.
responsible.
Doesn't like shots, caps himself off.
Yeah.
Doctor
I'd
says
say
no.
age. Lock in.
Lock
age,
me in?
Yeah, lock it in, Eddie.
Yes.
Who's most likely to be the best liar in the group of us?
Best liar. Not okay. The question is not most likely to lie, but the best liar. I'd say Mick.
You
Just
reckon-
very convincing.
Yeah, 'cause it's been a good yarn.
I've just
can't
seen him,
it?
Hey,
seen him
can-
spin yarns. You know what I mean? When I was sitting
Yeah.
at that airport the first time, then the second time, and he's just spinning, asking for every single type of compensation he could possibly get. I was like,
He's relentless.
he
Eh?
can convince me to do anything. He convinced me to be that loser that runs to the front of the tarmac to try and get the next plane before anyone else.
He can even convince you to come on a podcast. That's
Yeah,
that's pretty great.
Who's the most likely to spend their money on something stupid?
That's not a horse.
Gorilla. Oh, jeez. Probably age. I'd say.
Yeah, I have to.
Yeah.
agree.
You got
age
stupid
buys
spending
some
habits?
Stupid shit.
Yeah, you do.
impulse
Yeah,
buying.
impulse.
buying,
Very.
yeah.
But
very
no
bad
money to
impulse.
clothes.
Yeah, no money to clothes or
Yeah.
self-care or
Nah,
yeah,
only haircuts.
or food.
a gym
Oh,
membership.
who doesn't love food?
And we'll go
No
last
way, gym
one
membership.
that maybe you can all work out. Who is most likely to break a Guinness World Record and what would it be for?
Oh,
I'll start mine off. I think most likely probably age.
I know where this is going.
Most chicken nuggets consumed in 24 hours by a single human. That would be my one. What would you boys?
Got to have sweet and sour though.
Sweet and sour sauce.
And aioli.
I got a bit of a boring one just to
Don't know
go-
about that
like I'd say Jimmy the most on a multi. Like
Yes.
the stuff you talk to him on like a Monday night soccer or something, and he's like just casually brings up he's won a $3,000, $4,000 multi. And you're like,
$65
"What?"
odds
You know
or
what
some
I mean?
shit. You're like, thanks, Jim.
Yeah,
Thanks,
thanks,
Jim.
Jim. I'm still worried about my $30 I lost in the punt of the week member. Jimmy's just casually putting these crazy multis on, and like, haven't you had a good run?
I've had a good run since Melbourne Cup,
Yeah, since Gold Trip.
since Gold Trip. So yeah, no, pretty happy with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it comes in waves. So
Jimmy
he's
to
got to
land-
take these wins.
Jimmy to land the biggest multi.
Yeah, biggest multi of all time.
Take the wins
Yeah.
when you can, for sure.
I reckon Cameron to have the biggest or heaviest balls in the world.
This again.
You have to be up there.
I think if you go close, in terms of kilos, are we talking 7 kilos?
Just cut that way.
7 kilos per ball?
We're not cutting that
We're
part.
not cutting it.
We want to know how many kilos you reckon they
I'm
weigh.
giving no comment at all.
That's all you have to say. then.
comment at
That's
all.
all you have to say.
I would say Cameron as well as another one. Probably most nights out missed due to golfing commitments.
Oh yeah,
Is that a lock?
that is
Chin.
$1.10.
Hey, bit of moderation here. Yeah.
But moderation has balance. There's no balance. There's all, more miso, no cast.
Yeah, you need balance. Like you don't want to have big balls and no cock.
Yeah,
Fuck. He has
age will
that.
be up there. The longest sleep.
Hey, I'll admit my balls. are
longer
disproportionate
sleep.
to my cock,
Longest
not my
sleep.
girlfriend.
Oh,
yeah, I
God.
could have the longest sleep. I could probably go for 24 hours.
You could go for fucking days, I reckon.
If I had to.
Days on end.
I could. What about like a little this or that segment? We got to add a this or that in.
don't
Give
know.
one to Camo and Jim. Hey, would you rather
Yep.
be riding Nature Strip or Marzu coming into next year?
Marzu.
Really?
Marzu every day. Yeah, I think he's just going to turn into a new horse. He's still developing. He's only, a 4-year-old still right now. And Nature Strip's, I think, heading down. Nature Strip's still going to be very competitive, but
Yeah.
I think Marzu's going to be the new
More
new
upside.
champion. Yeah, more upside the next few years, especially as the gelding is just going to work into it. The Snowdens are absolute.
When did he get
specialists.
gelded?
He got gelded
Already.
already as a 2-year-old. Like that was old.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's what changed.
Yeah,
him.
he was
Into a
he
gun.
He got
losing
he was unbeaten when he first got gelded,
Well,
first
he was losing
prep.
in like 72s and 78s, and
Yeah.
then got gelded and pretty much won like 5 on the trot, and then won the
Doom 10,000.
10,000.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Jimmy? What do you reckon?
Yeah, I'm going to say Marzu. I agree with Camo. Yeah, I think Nature Strip, yeah, I mean, those last 2 runs, last prep was a bit underwhelming, so just not sure where he's at the moment. Marzu's on the rise and a very versatile horse, so you can ride him big cold, run forward. Be good.
Like it? Mick,
Yeah,
as
good
the
ride.
owner of
Yeah.
Nature Strip, what do you reckon?
Owner of Nature Strip. I think Nature Strip's a very fast horse and it just keeps going, so I don't want to be on it. I think I'd probably do some damage to it.
Probably fall off. eh?
Yeah, or even I've done enough damage to the horse, poor thing. So I don't want to hurt it anymore. I'll just ride Marzu for fun. But I got another this or that for the 2 horse racing experts. New South Wales based horses or Queens or Victoria based horses.
Gonna go Forster? Are you basing on like the trainers?
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Because they do interchange. Like, would
Yeah.
you rather a New South Wales trainers better or Victorian trainers better, or just like the facilities or the tracks? What are you talking about?
I'm saying if we did like a state of origin, but with horses.
With horses.
With horses, who wins?
Oh, I'm pretty biased and say New South Wales.
Yeah, New South Wales, I think.
Yeah, I've just
I mean, you see,
Can you rattle off a few on either side, just so the audience can know?
like horses.
Like horses, yeah.
Because
It depends what it's over though. There's too many factors to it. It's a pretty broad question, but like
Yeah,
you're thinking like Melbourne Cups, right? Most of the staying horses are in that Kieran Maher yard.
Yeah.
And like Chris Waller, although he's got a few, probably doesn't dominate those longer distances. But in terms of sprinting ranks, New South Wales I think just has it over him. Like we got Marzu, although the up and comer of
Giga Kicks from Melbourne.
Giga Kick's big, but I just think Giga is going to keep developing next few years and then be the champion later on. He might have been a 1 prep wonder.
Well, you see what Animo did?
Yeah, 100%.
He goes down to Melbourne and makes him look not second grade, but
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, how many Group 1s did he win this spring? Like
4.
4 in a row?
4, yeah.
So it's a tough question, but because they're both, like, as Camo mentioned, like trained interchangeably between the two.
Yeah.
What about J-Mac or Zach Purden? Who's the best jockey in the world?
Yeah, past J-Mac, I think, from what he's just done.
Yeah, it's hard. Because they go in form waves, but like J-Mac's just so in form. He's been so in form for 2 years. And he can sum it up anywhere on the track.
J-Mac is just levels above the rest of them in Australia. It's J-Mac.
He's
Dave.
already
Australia,
the goat.
yeah.
He's already the goat. And
Yeah.
he was the goat 2 years ago. And he's just going to keep continuing to build up the accolades.
Yeah.
With what he's done at such a young age. And you got to remember that he got suspended for 18 months for betting on Astern.
Astern,
Wow.
he
In
did.
the
Yeah.
Golden Rose. So
was he on it?
he was on it. Yeah.
He was right.
Wait,
Yeah.
what?
He's from New Zealand, and in New Zealand, you're able to bet on your own horse. when you're a jockey.
Okay, yeah.
But he obviously didn't get it wrong. But he, it's interesting. Like he was on it and just knew it was a freak and I think it was like
70K or something?
what?
Was it 70 grand?
Nah, it was like $1,000, $2,000. It was
Oh, a
hardly
little bet.
anything.
Yeah,
it
Oh,
was
a little
tiny
bit. Yeah,
It was a
right.
tiny bet, like not worth it for how much.
Yeah, nah, for that time.
J-Mac can make like.
Did the
$2
horse
million
win?
a year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
won.
what?
Yeah. You know.
What about you? Who do you reckon, Mick?
It's hard because Zach Pern's obviously cleaning up in Hong Kong and incredible jockey. I just haven't watched enough of him to give an opinion. Like obviously you see him ride on a Saturday night when you're chasing your tail, but just seeing what J-Mac's done in Australia, I think you have to go J-Mac. But if I tune into a bit more with Zach Purden, then maybe I might lean to him.
Yeah, I reckon they're on par. I reckon I'm going to go Zach Purden, the king of Kong. I'm going to back him in.
Yeah, it's interesting because Zach Burton, he's been over there for what, 10 years.
Ages,
15
yeah.
years. Yeah.
15 years. And he was so good when he was coming up the ranks of Victoria.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see, like, you know, J-Mac's dominating, but he's been there for a while and knows the tracks and does it all really well.
If the races are being raced in Hong Kong, you'd go Perth.
100%.
Australia to go J-Mac.
Yeah.
But J-Mac was just in Hong Kong recently and he had a few winners. So
Yeah, he got a few winners, but
yeah, it's hard comparing jockeys sometimes because they go in and out of form and also they get backed by different people.
And they get better. Some
different
get better
horses,
Like
everything.
you got Godolphin and Waller compared to the rest of them. You're getting most favourites in most races.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's the interesting part about it.
perfect.
sure.
Does anyone else have a this or that, or are we going to go on to a bit of a plan or penalty situation?
No, I don't have any more.
I got one for you guys, the NRL specialists.
Here we go.
Seabold as your head coach, play on or penalty?
Seabold as our head coach.
Isn't he going to Manly?
He's at Manly.
He's at Manly.
I'm going to say with Flanagan as his backup assistant, play on. Without penalty.
Because were the rumours true? I heard they weren't true.
Apparently they weren't true, but sometimes in rugby league you never know what's true and what's not, and what's reported. Look, that year he had with South, his debut season when he got Coach of the Year, I think he showed great promise. But then he went to Brisbane and I think that he lost in a semi-final and then I think got into last place the year after.
The club was just destroyed at that time.
Yeah. But to come last as a head coach, I think it's pretty tough to do. Especially when you still had like the team like the Brisbane Broncos with all that player development and they were competitive 2 years before you got there. It's a big loss. But hey, I think losing Des Hasler was a big loss, but I'm keen to give him a second chance at Manly.
So it's a play on both,
I'm going to say play on
Just because Flano's assistant coach, and I feel like he's a pretty good coach.
Yeah.
But
I don't know how they're going to work because they both probably have that head coach aura about them.
And this is a good chance for him as well because you've got the Turbo brothers, Tom and Jake, and you got Ben as well, and you got Cherry Evans in there, Ruben Gary.
Olakawatu.
He's got a good team, so there is no excuse in terms of poor roster.
Yeah.
This is his chance to actually coach, like he did with South, and their started
great
team.
stuff with South.
He did, yeah. He kicked off that sort of run where we under the Madge realm where we were just playing very structured football, and now he's
But our team was stacked though.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It might work out with Manly.
How about I got another one for you guys. I'm a big fan of playing on penalty. You know, I'm
here we go.
Long-time listener.
It'd be rude not to have
It'd be
it.
rude to have a few up my sleeve that I think about. You know, when I listen to the podcast. But Luke Brooks as your starting halfback, and not even taking into account you're paying $1 million. Play on a penalty.
I feel like for a team like Tigers, big penalty. They've got to let him go. Like they've got to have a divorce. If he was at the Dolphins, let's say, I'd say play on. Or like a team like Knights who need a halfback, play on. I think it's situational, but
I genuinely think he's a good player, but it just in a bad team, and he's been stuck in a bad team.
he just has to change systems.
I think he won halfback of the year a few years back, so it's obviously there. But I don't know. I think he needs to cut ties with his toxic girlfriend and move on to bigger and better things.
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought Hastings was so good there.
Yeah, Hastings was good. It's going to be a big loss for him. They got Clemmer in return, but I don't know. I think they're just because they're going to play Hastings either lock or off the bench. So it's like, would you rather Clemmer playing lock over Hastings? You probably would.
Yeah.
I love Hastings as a player, but I'm just not sure what happens behind the scenes. There was issues at Roosters, Manly.
I thought he was all changed since he came back from the UK.
I'd like to think he was, but who knows why he fell out of love with Tim Sheens. Maybe Dewey wants more money to stay at 5'8". Who knows? It's rugby league for you.
Rugby league, yeah, that's true. That's very true.
What about another play on a penalty, Cameron? The Dolphins roster they put together.
I think that's a trick question. Like you're looking at them, like is the question now? Because I think Wayne Bennett's just a smart coach and he's building for the future. Like next year they're going to be terrible. Like the roster's pretty average. Yeah. Like they're going to be trying to gel. They're trying to be like figuring stuff, their home grounds and all the rest of it. Like the things
no X factor.
You don't think about.
They have a lot of experience though,
but I just think Wayne Bennett's setting up for like 3 years time.
Yeah.
I think he's
Long
term. I think it's like obviously not getting Munster was a huge blow.
Yeah.
But I think he's just set up for the future and it's not about next year. I think so. Play on. Yeah.
Like it, Jimmy.
Play
on a penalty. Queenslander yourself.
Yeah, play on.
Play on, Mick.
Yeah, I like it.
It depends, like Cameron said, situational. If you're talking about next year, trying to be competitive in the 2023 season, I'd probably say penalty. I don't think it's going to be that competitive, but look, Rome wasn't built in a day. They're not going to win a premiership.
Have to
in their
start
first
somewhere.
Year. Exactly.
I do like the leadership squad they got there. They got like heaps of good old heads that could like put a good influence in the team and the culture, but they won't be doing much in 2023.
As long as they don't come in the bottom 4, I think it's a win for the club.
Yeah, I agree.
No, sounds good.
Well, I think that will do us. Thank you very
Thank
much
you.
for coming on the podcast, Cameron.
No
We've had
worries.
we've had a ball.
Yeah, hope you get invited.
Big
back
balls.
one day.
Big balls.
Great laugh.
That was good, fellas. Thanks a lot.
No worries. And we'll end on that note. And yeah, enjoy your weekend, guys.
And
See you
follow
guys.
Pulse Racing Thoroughbreds. Bye.